Frisk heard the band's first song end through the bathroom door, and the applause that followed was deafening compared to the audience's reaction when she sang for him. She really couldn't say she was jealous, though. She heard the men in the band were breathtakingly talented, and their handsome looks didn't hurt either with the female fans. Plus, when it all came down to it, Frisk knew they deserved more love than she did when it came to applause. They clearly still had the passion for their musical gift. Frisk despised her ability to sing, so it was only right that the people who loved what they did should reap the rewards. As the audience quieted down, waiting impatiently for the jazz band's next song to begin, it would have been at this very moment that Frisk could have screamed for help, and the chances of somebody hearing her would have been good. However, the wind and screams were knocked out of her as the huge skeleton slammed her against the wall. Beyond the skeleton monster's strong and merciless grip pinning her to the wall, Frisk felt something else on her body as well. Something heavy and unpleasant that had centered itself on her chest. Like some kind of an invisible weight. For a moment, Frisk thought he had terrified her so badly that she was having a heart attack. But just as quickly as that thought entered her mind, she dismissed it. Yes, her heart was beating a mile a second, and yes, the fear was clouding her thoughts. But aren't heart attacks supposed to be painful? Whatever was happening to her chest was uncomfortable, but it wasn't painful. It was unusual, but didn't feel life-threatening. The skeleton, on the other hand, felt quite life-threatening. Like her dad said, if you show your fear, they'll eat you alive in this city. Of course, this monster probably knew she was terrified. But she wasn't going to give him any more of her fear than she already had.
You don't like what you see? Well, ain't you an insulting, rude little thing?
The amusement that was in his voice seconds ago disappeared. At first, Frisk really couldn't believe he had actually said that. Was he really insulted that she wasn't all-out thrilled to be approached in a woman's bathroom by a male she never met? Did he seriously just call her rude? Was he kidding? One look at his face and that crazy red smoke now pouring out as thick as fog from his socket was enough to reassure her that he was most definitely serious. And when she realized that he truly was insulted, her fear disappeared, despite the part of her mind that was begging her to apologize to this massive and clearly powerful individual.
Come on, Frisky. It's okay. Just tell him what he wants to hear.
That part of her urged, and if this gentleman hadn't used the word insulting to describe her, Frisk might have actually done it. She would have hated herself for it, to be sure. But there's a time to be mouthy and there's a time to be smart. And now was certainly one of those times to be smart. But he did use the word insulting.
Oh, this creep is insulted, is he?
The other part of her mind growled, and Frisk actually had to fight with herself to keep in the ironic laugh that was threatening to come out of her. Rich clothes, golden jewelry, sitting and shooting the breeze with big-time criminals, and then has the nerve to come into a women's bathroom and assault her. Oh, but she was the rude one. And he was the one who was insulted.
I better know why he's insulted. He's probably just like the rich mobsters around here. He thinks because he's rich and powerful, he can do what he wants and gets anything with the snap of his fingers. I bet he's never had a woman reject him before. Bet his wealth and influence has women falling all over themselves to be with him.
Frisk knew a lot of beautiful and gorgeous women who used their looks and charms to attract high-class criminals. It was one way to survive in this world. And while Frisk didn't judge, she swore she would never become one of those women that tolerated a murderer for the good life. And this bastard was gonna get a reality check if he thought a few words and showing off his gold and expensive suit was gonna have her rushing into his arms. Forget being smart. She was going for self-respect. Would he make her regret? Oh yes. Was she worried that he might kill her? There was a tiny part of her that was.
Rude little thing.
The other part of her was still raging over his little description of her. In a way, it was kind of funny. She honestly thought she had trained herself over who she could snap at and who she had to endure. Guess not. She was gonna pay a high price for self-respect tonight.
Get off!
You know, kiddo, when I first saw us staring at each other, I honestly thought we had some kind of unspoken attraction. I know that was the case with me. As a man made of bones, I have a real thing for skin. And yours is just beautiful. Soft, smooth, practically flawless.
Such an inappropriate song to be raped and killed to.
She knew why her courage vanished as suddenly as it came. She had expected him to beat her violently, expected him to call her every horrible name in the book, throw her around a bit before he tore off her clothes, do what he was gonna do, and leave her body for some poor unexpecting woman to find. And Frisk would have accepted that fate. She wouldn't have been okay with it, but she would have accepted it, because she would have fought him every step of the way. She wouldn't have just let him do it to her without a fight. But he wasn't doing any of that. And now she truly was scared, because she had no idea what he was gonna do. His rough voice was soft. He was complimenting her, and he hadn't raised a finger to attack her.
And your hair, it's so shiny and soft, looking like silk.
His hard hand gently rested in her hair for a second. Frisk gulped, but the skeleton didn't seem to notice.
Yep, just like I thought. Feels like silk, too.
In fact, he seemed to be basking in how soft her hair was. Frisk, on the other hand, was having the opposite sensation.
Guess that's why I was looking at you. Can't help admiring pretty things.
His touch was sending disgusting vibes throughout her body. She wanted him off of her. She could literally smell the cigar smoke and blood coming off him, and the closer he got, the itchier her nose got. It reminded her of the small particles that would get into her nose whenever she dusted her home for the week.
So that's my reason for looking. So tell me, dollface. Why were you staring at me if you weren't interested in me?
She tried to push away from him, tried to move her body.
You don't have to say. I already know.
But that strange invisible weight kept her arms from swinging and her legs from running. If she weren't so terrified, she would have wondered what exactly was going on with her body.
You don't have to say. I already know.
But now wasn't the time.
You humans ain't exactly an accepting species. Barely can't tolerate each other as it is. Of course you wouldn't find somebody like me appealing to the eye. I'm nothing more than a freak to you, ain't I? A sideshow attraction for your lovely eyes to sneer at.
She didn't wonder how he could do that to her body. She wasn't worried about how strong he was, or how big he was, or how he just slammed her head against the wall twice, or his unwanted soft touches. All of them were unpleasant and nightmare-inducing experiences. But they were nothing compared to that accusation. Bet he never had anybody confront him either.
Don't you ever accuse me of being racist again. You can call me a lot of things and I'll accept them with a smile on my face. But don't ever call me racist, you bastard!
That damn determined part of her took great pride in knowing she truly did not base a person's character on their looks. Like so many other people in her city did, was demanding that she defend herself. Demanding that she uphold her beliefs her parents taught her. Demanding that she honor them.
And the only reason why I was looking at you in the first place was because you were sitting with the Dawn.
You got a thing for the old man, then?
I don't have a thing for criminals. Or mobsters. Or criminal mobster monsters who think they can stroll into a lady's bathroom just because they see something they like.
Vanished. But how? He didn't hear him move? What? Did he walk into one of the stalls? Now's a great time to leave.
Oh, dollface. You are just too cute, you know that? Getting all uppity and upset over a small business meeting.
She didn't know much about monsters, but apparently they could do some really insane stuff.
Let me pass!
Now, dollface.
Appearing and reappearing out of nowhere, using invisible pressures to pin people down. Something she really didn't want to be a part of.
We started up on the wrong foot.
Especially when these odd abilities were being used against her.
Let's try again. How's it going, little lady? The name's Sans. Sans the Skeleton.